Hey weirdos, welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm so glad you're here. I got a whole haul from Adrada Dips. She sent me all of these things to play with. I couldn't believe how much stuff she had on her website. I did not know. She had polygel, builder gel, all the gel things. I'm going to use a few colors in her gel liquids today. Peep this reflective gel polish. I'm not going to use it today, but holy smokes, is it beautiful. Y'all are sleeping on this company. Hop on over. If you want to try some of her products, I will leave everything linked down below. I'm going to do her gel liquids and dip powders today. And thank you so much to Adrada for sponsoring this video and sending me all of these goodies to play with. I so appreciate you. So we're going to talk a little bit about Adrada, but I also want to talk about how to improve your nail game on your dominant hand. If you want to see the mani on my left hand, that'll be coming up soon, I promise. So Adrada also throws in these little how-to cards, if you will. She has one for everything, which I really appreciate if you're new to dip powder. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Marlakris. Thank you for joining me. I do nail content on this channel twice a week, every week, so consider subscribing if you like that kind of stuff. So the first thing I want to talk about when you're doing your dominant hand is going to sound a little, I don't know, not what you want to hear, but I'm going to tell you anyway. It's going to be part one and a part two, I guess. One, make sure you eat. If you are shaky, you're not going to have a good time doing this. And that leads into number two, which is avoid caffeine. You want to avoid anything that could possibly make you more shaky than usual. I have a very shaky hand naturally. I don't drink coffee anymore. I know, pause for reaction. I quit coffee. I quit sugar. I'm eating much healthier these days, but I still have a naturally shaky hand when it comes to this kind of stuff, especially my left hand. So I like to avoid caffeine, not that I drink it anymore anyway, and I want to make sure I'm well fed. That way I'm not shaking and starving and grumpy. So that's my first tip to doing anything on your dominant hand. If you see my pinky leaning against my other hand, my left pinky leaning against my right hand, that is stabilization. That is going to be point number 3 to doing your dominant hand. You want to make sure you're keeping yourself as stable as possible, and that can mean leaning your hands against each other. My wrists and my forearms are on my nail desk, kind of like cemented down, if you will. You don't want your hands floating above your nail space because that's going to make you very shaky and very unstable. So you want to make sure that you're planted firmly on your nail desk and that you have as much stabilization as possible. The next tip I have for you, I mean, yes, it's for doing your dominant hand, but it could go for doing your non-dominant hand as well, is products. You have to get to know yourself and how you work, and then you can figure out what products are going to work best for you. I messaged Adrada as soon as I finished filming this, and I'm like, holy sorcery, Batman. The gel liquids are not super thin. They're a medium consistency. Thin to medium, I would say, but they stay where you put them, but they level so beautifully. I don't know what kind of witchery she's doing over there, but these products made it so easy to get a seamless application, and I find that can really be beneficial. This is 2 coats, by the way, of that beautiful chocolate brown color. I find it very easy to get a seamless, smooth application, which is going to lead to less filing later. Because if you're anything like me and you're useless with your non-dominant, right, your non-dominant hand, you're going to be so fatigued after dipping that filing is going to be a chore. So you want to minimize your filing as much as you can. And I find that using products that are very user-friendly for you specifically are really going to help eliminate any extra filing you need to do. Which brings me to another point. Having control over your product is really important, especially when you're trying to get the smoothest, most flawless application possible. You don't want your products to be running all over the place. And I find that less is more, especially when you're doing your dominant hand. I find that you can always add more if you need to, but If you put too much product down on the nail, you're bound to have a problem, be it running into your sidewalls, running into your skin by your cuticle area. All of these potential issues from using too much product is going to cause stress. It can cause issues with filing later. It can cause issues with lifting. And if you're using gel liquids like I am, it can cause the potential for a gel allergy. So you really want to make sure you have control over the products you're using and really taking your time. I go way slower when I'm doing my dominant hand, and oddly enough, my dominant hand usually comes out looking better than my non-dominant hand, and I think that's because I spend more time making sure that I'm applying the products the way I want to apply them. I'm going to pause the dominant hand tips and tricks for just a sec to talk about what I'm doing actually. I am using gel liquids as mentioned, so I am not going to be using any dip liquids, no activator, no nothing. I am curing each coat of dip for a minimum of a minute. Usually it's closer to 2 minutes when I'm working with glitters or very opaque shades, so 2 minutes in between each coat. For the glitter, how gorgeous is this glitter, y'all? I'm going to do my first coat as a pour over just to see what it looks like doing the pour over method. It's a little sparse, which I expected, as typical for most glitter pour overs. So my second coat, which you're going to see here in a bit, I'm going to lay very carefully my nail into the cupcake liner to pick up as much glitter as possible. And then again, I'll cure that for 2 full minutes. After I am done with all of the dipping, if you were using dip liquids, which you can totally do for this entire manicure, by the way, you would then apply your dip base, dip into clear dip powder to encapsulate, activate, file, and buff, right? So since I'm using gels, I'm going to skip most of those steps. I do not need to activate, so that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to use clear dip powder. Clear and gel liquids tend to not get along very well. The clear just doesn't absorb well into the gel liquids. So instead of encapsulating with clear, I'm going to encapsulate with a coat of gel base and then a coat of gel top coat, curing in between. And I'm going to file and buff over that, just so you know what my game plan is, my roadmap. If you want to see a very detailed tutorial on the gel method, I will leave that up in the cards for you to reference in case you haven't done it before. If you want to see me play with any of the other products that Adrada sent me, the dip liquids, builder gel, poly gel, I don't know if I'll play with poly gel, if I'm being 100%. I'm not a fan of poly gel. I don't know. It's not for me, I don't think, although I have plans for some sort of poly gel in the near future. I don't want to tell you what it is yet in case I decide against it, but maybe, perhaps. But let me know down below. And also let me know if you've tried Adrada and what you think of her products. I was shook, if I'm being 100%. I've used her products before in the past. Granted, it was probably at least 2 to 3 years ago since I've played with her products. And I cannot believe I've been sleeping on these products. Again, I messaged her right after I filmed this and I told her, I'm going to need a stock supply of the gel liquids. They are sensational. They're my new go-to gels. If y'all are going to ask me, what's your favorite gel base and gel top? Adrada. Go get them before they're sold out. And I told her, B, prepare and make sure you're stocked because my weirdos are going to come. They're going to come for you and they're going to buy all your things. So hopefully she heeded my advice. Heeded? Is that a thing? Took my advice and stocked everything for you guys because I'm telling you, this is one you're not going to want to sleep on. So I'm going to finish up the dipping portion of this and I'm going to file and buff off camera, and then I'm going to come back for top coat and a couple of final tips and tricks for you guys. So here's everything after filing and shaping and buffing, which really literally took me less than 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes to file. I cleaned up my cuticle area slightly. My shape was pretty much perfect, and I went over the entire nail with a buffer. That was literally it. This was such an easy manicure to clean up. So I'm going to go right in with the top coat and watch how quick this levels out, by the way. My last tip for you guys, well, 2 maybe, practice. If you like to swatch your dip powders when you get them, swatch with your left hand or your non-dominant hand. That's a great way to practice. And the final tip is to give yourself some grace. It is not easy trying to be ambidextrous. It's not natural for a lot of us. So is it going to be more difficult? Of course it is. But you know what? Things are always difficult in the beginning, and you're going to get there eventually. So have some patience, give yourself some grace, and have a little confidence in yourself, because that is really all you're going to need. I'm going to finish up with the Adrada cuticle oil. This is the fragrance Amber Romance. It is so giving me Victoria's Secret vibes. I am literally obsessed, and now I need a whole bottle of this to spray all over my person. I want to smell like this everywhere. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know if you did. Give me a thumbs up if you did. It really helps out my channel, and I would appreciate it. Huge thank yous to Adrada for again sponsoring the video and sending over all these things for me to play with. Thank you guys for spending some of your time with me today. That makes my heart smile so big. I hope the rest of your day is as beautiful as you are, and I will catch you in the next one. Love you, bye.